Welcome back to Week 5 of the GoGamecocks.com preview show. We're going to look at Kentucky a little later, but because, frankly, it's a little depressing to look at Kentucky, we're going to start by looking at the first third of the Gamecocks season. 3-1 through 4 games. In those 4 games, David, give me a high and a low. What for you has been the best part? What for you has been the worst part of the Gamecocks?
Well, Josh, there's always the obvious topics. I'm going to go a little bit, kind of the undersung kind of things. With the high, I think it's a big constant of the past 3 years has been USC has gotten a little bit of breaks to where they'll win some of these games that they would have lost in the past. And I think that they're still getting those, particularly as we've seen in the last 2 games. You had Jimmy Legree's end zone interception against Vanderbilt, and you had a whole bunch of turnovers last week at UCF. Mm-hmm. Some where I go back and look on the tape where Blake Bortles had a man running wide open in the end zone. He just underthrew it, and TJ Holloman just sat there and picked it off. So USC is still getting those kind of breaks to win these games, whereas in years past they might not have gotten those. That's been a huge part of the last 3 years, and it's starting to come around now.
Absolutely. That's very true.
A major low, obviously the defensive problems are all over. I'm going to go with one specific part of that, defensive line. I think we all knew that the defensive line was going to be the strength of the entire team this year, and quite frankly, it hasn't.
Should have been, yeah.
You can say what you want about Jadeveon Clowney. He's had some medical issues. He's facing double teams, but as you pointed out, where's Kelsey Quarles been? Chaz Sutton has got some numbers, but they're not really impacting the game. JT Surratt, Gerald Dixon Jr. are playing pretty well, but they're not really dominating, They're getting no pass rush. The Rabbits package has basically been non-existent, non-productive. I just don't know what's going on with this defensive line, something that was supposed to be the strongest part of this team. It's just not there.
You're absolutely right. I'm going to go with one obvious one and one a little off the board. For the obvious one, it's the high. It's Mike Davis. I think that, the guy has been everything folks could have hoped and more. He gets tough yards. He's got more speed than we've seen from a South Carolina back in a long time. He is, I think, deserving of being in the conversation when you start talking about those frontline SEC backs, guys like Todd Gurley and Jeremy Hill.
Second in the league in rushing, right?
Yeah. I don't know if he's as good as those guys, but if he's not, boy, he is not far off. He's a good player. For my low, I'm going to go off the board, and I'm going to go Justin Scott Wesley, Georgia wide receiver. This is my point. Scott Wesley is the kid who gets away from South Carolina's secondary to score basically the back-breaking touchdown in Athens.
Right.
Then, 2 weeks later, same kid gets away from LSU's secondary to score the go-ahead touchdown for Georgia over LSU. If Georgia doesn't win that game, the complexion of the South Carolina season right now is completely different. They're right there in the SEC East race. Now they've got a real uphill battle. So for me, you talk about the little things, and some things go your way. It can be a game of inches, and for South Carolina, Justin Scott Wesley has been a burr in their side. Now we'll talk about the Wildcats, a team that is under Mark Stoops, a first-year head coach, younger brother of Steve Spurrier's buddy Bob Stoops. You got anything good to say about the Wildcats?
Look, we all know what a tough thing that Kentucky has been in football the past few years. And next year they got a really good recruiting class coming in. This year they're just not good. They are not a good football team. There's no reason that USC should win this game handily, which is a topic we'll get into later about coulda, shoulda, woulda. But Kentucky, just looking at something that they might do well, they're second in the league in pass defense. And that's a good thing.
Sure.
But the real reason they're second in the league in pass defense is because they're 13th in the league in rush defense. You don't have to throw the ball against this team. And, whether Connor Shaw plays or not, I'm not sure if the best move wouldn't be to just sit him down and say, hand the ball to Davis 28. And just keep running. Obviously Connor Shaw can open up the game a little more. But with Kentucky just being so bad on defense, why even try to throw it in their wheelhouse? They have had a few picks, interceptions, that kind of thing. Why even risk it? Just run the ball against them because the pass defense is about the best thing that I can say about Kentucky. Shoot, they're trying to find a quarterback right now.
They are, and they're last in the SEC in scoring offense, like you mentioned. They just really don't do anything well. The only possible place I can see them being dangerous is Neil Brown, their offensive coordinator, is a hot commodity. He's one of these young guys, aggressive, up-tempo, not run and shoot, but the no huddle, wants to, at some point, if this is going to work at Kentucky, that's going to start to click. I don't think it's going to be this week, but at some point it will. So the only possible danger if you're, looking for a place that you could be in trouble against Kentucky is if for some reason they kind of figure out that offense and Brown can run tempo and the defense can get tired. I don't think that's going to happen, but if you're searching for something, which we are, that would be the only thing in my mind. Injury report, David, what do you think? Who do you think we're going to see and not see?
Well, Steve Spurrier says that Connor Shaw could be able to play. I
Right.
think he will play in some capacity, but I think Steve Spurrier's, smart cookie and knows that, there's really nothing to be gained by playing the guy a lot unless you just absolutely have to. Right. So I think that Connor Shaw will play, but very sparingly. The main point is getting him healthy for the Arkansas game on the road next week. Cody Waldrop, sprained ankle, probably won't play, but, you don't lose anything with Clayton Stadnick getting in there. Busta Anderson, has a little bit of a back problem. He should be good to go. The main one is Brandon Wilds. He's probably going to be out 3 to 4 weeks, a month with that dislocated elbow and the recovery from it. But David Williams, the freshman running back who was thought to be redshirted, he's going to come up, and we'll see how Steve Spurrier decides to use him this week.
That brings us to predictions. I'm going to go first this week, and all that stuff I said about, maybe Kentucky getting their offense going, I really don't think that's going to happen. I think South Carolina's defense has a chance to feel a little bit better about themselves after this week, and I think that they will. I think South Carolina's offense can probably score as many as they want, but will keep the ball on the ground. I see something like 30-7. What do you got?
Well, I think I completely agree with you there, Josh. I think the defense will get some feel good. I think they'll have some early struggles, though. Allow maybe 10 points for USC just blows them out. I'm going to say 38-17, and while that sounds maybe a little closer, probably that 7 points for Kentucky right at the end to make it 17 will be against the second and third string guys. Either way, USC should win comfortably. There's no way it shouldn't be a very comfortable win on Saturday.
I agree. So we're looking at South Carolina being 4-1 at the end of this week, but stick with us through the rest of the week, and on Saturday we'll have all the action for you.